Mando and Baby Yoda are on the run. They narrowly escaped Navarro with the help of Mando's Mandalorian covert. The covert exposed themselves to help a brother. Now, the duo has to find a place to hide. Mando knows every Imperial and bounty hunter will be looking for them, so he has to find a place to lay low for a while, and maybe drop the kid off to a good home. That proves to be more difficult than it sounds. This is my breakdown of The Mandalorian Chapter 4, where I will include the synopsis and hidden Easter eggs for the episode, today on Star Wars Fanatic. If you are not already done so, go on and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all my Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and general Star Wars content. This chapter opens up to a small village located on the forest swamp planet of Sorgan, where Omera and her daughter are harvesting some blue krill with the other villagers. The scene is serene, and everyone is smiling, but not for long. Something is off. The birds in the forest start flying away in flocks and making all kinds of ruckus. Then, out of the tree line comes Klatooinian raiders, armed, growling, and shouting as they wave their weapons in the air. They raid the village of all its blue krill, which is the staple diet of the villagers. Meanwhile, back on the Razor Crest, Mando is looking for a safe place to set in and hide, with his new partner Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is intrigued by all the buttons in the ship's cockpit. He flips a switch, then another. Mando quickly flips the switches back and tells him not to touch them. Then, in a natural childlike move, Baby Yoda looks at Mando and slowly inches his way to another switch, then flips it. Aw, he did another cute thing. The ship shakes and Mando picks him up and puts him on his lap. He then evaluates the planet Sorgan. Seems like a good place to hide for a while. The Razor Crest lands on the outskirts of town, and Mando and Baby Yoda make their way into the small outpost. They find a place to get some victuals and have a seat. Mando notices a strange woman sitting alone and leaves the child to his bone broth when he notices the mysterious woman has left. When he turns a corner, hoo-yah, he gets attacked by the brute. This continues for a few minutes, with neither being the clear victor. When they both look over and see Baby Yoda chillin', eating some bone broth from the bowl as he watches them, they both stop fighting. Aw, the child did another cute thing. The trio sit down for some eats, and a little backstory for the mystery woman. Her name is Cara Dune, and she was a rebel shock trooper during the Galactic Civil War. She then tells Mando there's no room on this planet for the two of us, and I was here first. As Mando prepares the Razor Crest for takeoff, two villagers approach him and offer money for his protection against the Klatooinian raiders. He takes their money and offers it to Cara Dune to assist him. When they arrive at the village, the children are fascinated with Baby Yoda. All is well, and all are happy to see the mercenaries there to save them from the raiders. The widowed mother, Omera, puts Mando and Baby Yoda up in some lodging and offers Mando some food and drink. He accepts. She asks him why he hasn't removed his helmet in front of anyone, and he gives her the backstory. She then leaves him to go outside and play with Baby Yoda, with the village children. Mando removes his helmet in private and eats. Cara and Mando do some investigating and tracking and return to the villagers with bad news. They have to move. The raiders aren't just foot soldiers. There's an ATST, or Armored Imperial Scout Walker, in the raiders' possession. The villagers disagree and decide to learn to fight instead, in order to help the two mercenaries battle the oncoming raid. While laying out the plan, Mando asks who knows how to shoot. Only one person raises their hand, Omera. And during training, she hits the target with accuracy every time. Well, guess that means she wasn't a stormtrooper at some point. That night, Cara and Mando set out to find the raiders' camp and provoke them into chasing them to the village, where a trap has been set for the walker. When they arrive at the Klatooinians' camp, they find their presumably illegal spotchka distillery and set a charge to it. Raiders come in and get beat up by the pair, and chase is given. Once they reach the village, the battle ensues, but the raiders are defeated and the walker falls. Mando and Cara take a moment to evaluate their plans. Cara asks Mando about his helmet, and he tells her he could never put it back on if he takes it off. She acted surprised that he didn't want to take it off and settle down with O'Mara, who obviously likes him. Sorry, Cara, his bond to his creed is more important than that. He then tells her he is going to move on, but he will leave Baby Yoda there. So, it seems their plans are set. Until the scene shifts to someone carrying a tracking fob. The bounty hunter is a long-snouted kubas. This is the second time we have seen this species in The Mandalorian. The first time was in Chapter 1. He hailed the speeder for Mando. As he tracks his target, Mando pulls O'Mara aside and tells her he wants to leave the child. She almost convinces him to stay as well, and the Temptress tries to remove his helmet. At the last second, he pulls her hands away and tells her he doesn't belong there. Anyway, the hunter has his scope set to kill Baby Yoda. As he squeezes the trigger, he falls dead. Cara had been tracking him and killed him. Mando decides he and the child have to leave, or more bounty hunters will come. They will put the villagers in danger and Baby Yoda. Mando and Baby Yoda say their goodbyes, and they leave. Okay, so that's the synopsis. I'll give my thoughts on the episode, then give you perspective on the Easter eggs and references. So for my review, it was a decent episode, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. I believe this is her first in the Star Wars universe, but she does get better later on. Not that she did a bad job, but maybe the storyline just wasn't for her. The whole episode wasn't action, and that's okay. There was action, but about 2/3 of it was story. However, I don't think most of the story was crucial to the overall Mandalorian arc. There were some moments where Mando told about his helmet removal policy and gave a tiny backstory to his own Mandalorian saviors. There is also the Cara Dune backstory, which touches on the overall state of the galaxy since the Galactic Civil War officially ended. But, for the most part, this was a side quest. Mando helped some villagers or someone in desperate need and met a friend. We will see this happen a few more times over the course of the series. Some critics say it was a filler episode, but I think it was really trying to show there is nowhere for Mando nor Baby Yoda to hide. They will be hunted anywhere they go. This is the first time we meet Cara Dune. I'm sorry, I know there are a lot of Cara Dune supporters and fans out there, but this episode, she didn't stick the landing with me. Gina overacted the part a little, and her tough girl strut kind of irritated me. It seemed over-exaggerated, to be honest. Now, that isn't to say I don't like the character of Cara Dune. In the next season, she really grows on me, just not in this episode. Overall, the episode was pretty good. I liked the bit with the Walker and the Klatooinian Raiders, which brings me to my next bit, the callbacks and references. There aren't many real Easter eggs in this episode, but there are some good references to other sci-fi and Star Wars material. First, I will start with the blue krill that the villagers are harvesting. Blue is a theme in Star Wars. In fact, Return of the Jedi's working title was Blue Harvest. Then Family Guy did a spoof on A New Hope and titled it Blue Harvest. There was also an episode of the animated series Ewoks titled Blue Harvest. Then you have blue milk on Tatooine, the blue spatchka, and now the blue krill being harvested. Not to mention Anakin and Obi-Wan's lightsabers were blue. That may not mean anything. I just find it interesting that blue shows up this much. In this case, the Klatooinians were using the blue krill to make and bootleg blue spatchka, and maybe even selling it to the little diner Mando and Baby Yoda stopped in at the beginning of the episode. Okay, next up we have the Klatooinians themselves. The first time we see them is in Return of the Jedi. There is one named Barada, who worked for Jabba the Hutt. He was killed during the battle over the Sarlacc pit, but it isn't just the reference to Return of the Jedi that interests me in the Klatooinians. It's the reference to other sci-fi material. In Episode 1, we see Mando retrieve Baby Yoda from a band of Nikto, who, by the way, also featured in Return of the Jedi for the first time. Now, we have Klatooinians. Don't see the connection? Well, you would have to go back and watch the 1951 sci-fi classic, The Day the Earth Stood Still. George Lucas used a lot of old cinema as inspiration for Star Wars. It wasn't just Kurosawa. In 1951 classic, if anything were to happen to the humanoid protagonist named Klaatu, The phrase Klaatu Barada Nikto was to be spoken, and all would be right again. Now, do you see where I'm going with this? So, I know someone will point it out that the spelling is different between the species and the classic sci-fi film. True. However, also on Jabba's crew was a green Nikto named Klaatu, with the proper spelling. So we have a Nikto named Klaatu and a Klaatuinian named Barada. Klaatu Barada Nikto. This phrase was also made popular in the 1992 horror spoof Army of Darkness, where the main character, Ash, had to say the phrase in order to retrieve the Necronomicon. Well, he botched it and raised an army of undead by mistake. There are other things, such as the loath cat we see in the diner, and the reemergence of the long-snouted Kubas species, in which Garandan from A New Hope, the guy who called for the shuttle in the Mandalorian Chapter 1, and now the bounty hunter in this episode, belong to. The ATST was also a nice surprise. It had some minor modifications from the Imperial version, but it was still a welcome sight. Okay, so that's all I have for you in this chapter. What did you think of the episode? Did you like it? Was there something I missed? Am I being too critical of the Temptress trying to remove Mando's helmet? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't done so already, or you're new to the channel, go on and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all my Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and general Star Wars reviews, theories, and discussions. Also, hit the thumbs up to show your everlasting love for the hard work I put into each video, and pass the video around to some friends. Let's see how high we can take this channel. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way, the only way.